Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ruby Summer Rose Court. To recap where we left off last time, we finally managed to bring Penny out of her mysterious coma, in which we found out that, through Weiss, that there was an impure dust crystal that was hidden inside of her body, which led Weiss to believe that the Pendrake project was potentially a victim of sabotage. So we don't know for sure just yet, but that was a huge revelation, and we actually did get to spend some one-on-one time with Penny, which was really, really nice and just wholesome. But yeah, let's dive right back in. Okay, I think this should work. Fastening my cloak, I try my best not to fidget nervously. Pyrrha walks alongside me, eager to explore the city and take a break from all the chaos. It's nice to be anonymous like this, to escape from my queenly duties for a little bit. Okay, so my initial instinct right now is that we are now heading into Pyrrha's loyalty mission, perhaps? And the last segment was probably very centered on Penny. It's a very cunning disguise, Your Majesty. I look around. The citizens on the street are crowding together to let us pass, conspicuously averting their eyes. One of them is kneeling. Nobody's bugging me about taxes. That counts. Of course. Let's go this way. It's quieter. I lead Pyrrha down a few alleys and into a residential section. Getting some new music now. Kinda reminds me of Life is Strange. Hey, Ruby. She stops in front of a small building made of polished gray stone. What is it? Oh, isn't this an SB temple? Or one of your temples? I can't believe I let slip that I called her plain SB. Yes, this is a temple to the goddess Octoritus. This has been here a while. Have you never visited? I was a sheltered princess and then a wandering desert nomad for a while, so no. Vale and Spiritus Bellatorum were close allies before the portals closed. People bring their gods with them, I guess. Pyrrha's bouncing on her toes, glancing from me to the temple doors. She's so excited. Do you want to go in? Yes, I would like that. So we step inside. The air is perfumed with something I don't recognize, sharp, fresh, and green. Pyrrha takes a deep breath. It's been too long. She goes up to the priestess on duty, passes her a few coins, and receives a stick of incense in return. The priestess smiles at her and goes to a back room. Is it okay for me to be here? Of course it is. Octoritus welcomes any who seek her, especially if they're accompanied by one of her former priestesses. One of her whats? Former priestess? I guess you couldn't have known. She lights the incense and places it on the altar. Most orphans are raised by the temples. It made sense that I would join the order once I became an adult. So why'd you leave? Octoritus calls us to serve where we are needed. I was a priestess for 2 years, but when war was declared, well, I was needed outside the temple. Do you miss it? I did what was right. I'm still a lay sister, actually. If Octoritus needs me in the temple again, I can renew those vows and return to being a priestess. You can do that? Of course. The vows of a lay sister are much less demanding than those of a priestess. And most of what Octoritus asks I hope I would do anyway. We are called to protect those who serve us. She runs her finger across the altar. You've certainly done that. And to empower those whom we serve. She looks at me intently. It's been an honor working alongside you. And yet, I find myself troubled. So I thought I'd consult you on the matter. Go ahead. Right now, my people are safe, but integrating into this city has been hard. There's a need for leaders to step up. And since your duty is to protect people, right, the situation's changed. You think you'd be doing the most good as a priestess rather than a soldier. Spiritus Bellatorum will one day be free of the creatures of Grimm. I want to know, when that day comes, Should I return to my home, or will you still need me here with the court? That isn't something I can decide for you. I trust you to make the best choice. And I trust you to do the same. So what will you choose? Is this some sort of weird test? No? I'm genuinely at a loss. Tell me where you think I would do the most good. You don't need to decide right now, silly. She bows to the altar and turns to leave. After a moment, I join her, and we return to the streets. Oh, good. I was about to have a crisis right there in the temple. That would have been the best place to have one. As we walk, Pyrrha laughs under her breath. The question is, do you really think I'll be able to stop the Grimm? If anyone can, it's you. It's nice to hear that. I don't know if it's true, but it's nice. Glinda always... I stop suddenly, rooted to the spot. Oh no! Pyrrha, what time is it? Before she can answer, the bells start ringing the hour, confirming my worst fear. Did we miss ballroom dancing lessons? What's the matter, Ruby? Is there an emergency? Ah! I'm late! I was so excited about going out with you that I completely forgot. Glinda needed me for something in the castle. I can still get there sorta on time if we run. Not waiting for me, Pyrrha shoots off like a loose arrow. I chase after her, trying to whip up the winds to propel me forward. It's always harder to use Crescent when I'm around Pyrrha, but I never resented it until this very moment. Salutations, Pyrrha. Instead of Glinda, we find Penny hanging around what is increasingly beginning to feel like her room. Oh, hello, Penny. How have you been feeling? I've been wonderful. Thank you so much for asking. And I know I've said this before, but I just wanted to say thank you again for saving my life, Pyrrha. I'd do it again in a heartbeat if I could. As heartwarming as this is, I keep anxiously bouncing in place, glancing around the empty room. Hey, not to interrupt, but have you seen Glinda anywhere? Yes, she said she would be meeting you here, so I waited with her. You just missed her. She marched off looking really, really angry about something and muttering about the time. Oh boy. If only she had waited as well. Is there some problem I should be aware of? Nothing that I'd want to stress you over. Your job is to relax and recover. Yes, Your Majesty. In fact, today Ren and Nora said they were going to take me on a picnic in the gardens. Oh man, that's so cute. Bless Ren and Nora. I'm really glad that Penny's making friends with the rest of the court. Forgive me if this is rude, but can you even eat? No, that's a good question. And we're about to find out the answer! Out of nowhere, Ren and Nora swoop in. They descend on Penny, each linking an arm with her and dragging her off. We've been looking all over for you. Nora actually cooked this time. Oh, really? Really? How exciting. Yeah, I found a recipe book stashed in Ruby's room. We're going to have a good time. Nora glances at me over her shoulders as she leaves, making significant eye contact. With absolutely no politics or sad news at all. And if anyone wants to join in, they have to follow that rule. Their conversation dies off as they ascend back up to the hallway of tapestries. That's so cute. Pyrrha and I are left in stunned silence for a moment before she starts giggling again. I wonder to whom she could have been referring to. A mystery we may never solve. Wait, did they go through my stuff? I pause, then shake my head. Okay, so Glinda's definitely not here. So where could she be? I turn to head back up the stairwell. Pyrrha seems to pause before following me. Actually, Ruby, while we have a moment alone... She puts a hand on my elbow, making me pause. And then the walls start to shake. Faint lines of dust and sand trickle down the stairway. Alarmed, That gentle touch turns to iron as Pyrrha yanks me backwards. In front of us, the crack of stone hitting stone rings so loudly my skull vibrates. Crap. The door leading out is blocked off, covered once more by the portrait of my ancestor. We're locked in. Okay, that's not ideal. Locked away with Senpai. Crescent, mind helping us out? I strain my ears as though Crescent has a physical voice. When nothing but silence is forthcoming, I glance at Pyrrha. Stand there a moment, Pyrrha. Jogging to the furthest part of the room from her, I try again to talk to Crescent. Total silence. I can't tell if she's being sullen or if your SB presence is extra nullifying today, Captain Nikos. Ever since your semblance woke up, it's been even worse. I'm sorry. The waver in her voice is so alien that I don't know how to respond. Pyrrha has both hands clasped in front of her, eyes trained on the floor. And she's shaking. I'm so sorry. Hey, it's not a big deal. Glinda's probably looking for me, so she'll come back, see the doors closed, and come get us. I hop up onto one of the examination tables, patting it to invite her over. But Pyrrha doesn't budge. Wait here? She says it almost breathlessly. Wait here how long? Is there no other way out? Well, there is one. She marches over to me, taking me by the wrist. Her palms are ice cold, yet damp with sweat. Let's go, right now, please. Oh, sure. There used to be an elevator until I broke it, but we have a rope ladder there now, and then it's a quick trot through the tunnels. Pyrrha's shoulders fall, almost in defeat. More tunnels, of course. Is that reminding her of home? And I'm unarmed. This has got to be what hell feels like. Oh. Oh no. I mean, we can still wait here. We don't have to use the tunnels. Laughing sharply, Pyrrha shakes her head. I'm not sure which is worse. I make a decision quickly. Let's go then. It'll be better than just standing around. I think she's claustrophobic, maybe. I clambered down the rope ladder first, taking the lead. Pyrrha is quick to follow. The fact that she's underground and unarmed just reminds her of like the home situation back in Spiritus Bellodorum, where like the threat of Chimera coming into the tunnels was a very real threat, I imagine. And you're certain this path is safe? Safe as can be. Thank goodness they got rid of the stage in Edubige's corpse. I'm pretty sure that's the last thing a battle-rattled soldier who'd been trapped underground for years needs to see. There we go, it's confirmed. Pyrrha suddenly holds onto my forearm like I'm her lifeline. I'm sorry about this. Her grip loosens feather light across my palm until she links our fingers together. For what? You keep apologizing like it's your fault. Not that. I'm sorry about the way I'm acting. I should be calmer about these things. It's just, if I had my spear, if I had anything at all, It's fine, just keep moving. You're being very brave. I think you're being very brave. After what you went through, it's a miracle you followed me to the lab to begin with. That winding staircase is claustrophobic even to me. If I had known the door would close behind me, I might not have. Even if that's true, you don't have to be brave all the time. Okay? It is as you command, Your Majesty. She squeezes my hand. So, yeah. I'm honestly glad you're here with me. The first time I was all alone and it was creepy and scary. You found Pendrake down here, correct? Yeah, it was frightening. I wasn't sure if she was some kind of demon or grim or a ghost sent to haunt me. So why did you free her? I don't know. I didn't get any danger feelings off of her, I guess. So you trusted your gut on something that could kill you. Queen's intuition, it's a powerful thing. Anyway, she helped me find my way out, and it's a good thing she did because I learned more about my castle in the process. Pyrrha listens to me attentively, but doesn't talk much herself. So I try to prod her a little, just to get her distracted from her surroundings. Hey, so, tell me more about being a priestess. It wasn't very exciting. I like, not exciting things. Her eyebrow arches slightly. My life is exciting enough, seriously. She takes a moment to think about it. Well, something interesting about me is my name. The name I had before. You could translate it to Pyrrha raised by the temple. All the orphans had that last name. Is that unusual? Did they treat you different? I was treated a little differently where I grew up. Well, there was the obvious. They expected me to become a priestess when I matured. Other than that, they didn't expect anything of me at all. She trails off. I don't think I expected anything of myself either. So, I'm guessing the name Nikos means something cool? There were a few other Nikos among the soldiers. It's a title, not a name. It's a bit like knighthood, you know, how everyone calls them sir. You don't sound too happy about that. Sweet, I get another knight. This one might be a bit, insensitive, so maybe let's go with you don't sound too happy about that. It doesn't matter if I'm happy about it or not. Why not? I'm the only Nikos left. During the war, there were a lot of times when the odds were against us. Lots of people died. Except for me, I always made it back. In times like this, you rise up the ranks quicker than you might otherwise. So fewer and fewer people knew me as Pyrrha, they started calling me Nikos. Like Lunafracta the Betrayer, Renlact the Righteous, Pyrrha the Victorious. Wow. So you're actually kind of a big shot. I had no idea. I would have rather had all my friends live than any honor the state could give me. Everyone kept telling me there was a reason I survived, that a glorious destiny awaited me. Do you believe in destiny? But I don't know what it is, or if I can do it. All I seem to do is just survive. And no matter how many times I tell myself otherwise, I keep feeling like I'm just meant. We reach the end of the tunnel. Bracing myself against the entrance, I force it open. Sunlight spills over us in a sudden rush, like the curtains falling. To die. From the sun's position in the sky, it looks like we haven't been down there for longer than an hour. I hear the bells tolling again, far off in the distance. Hug Pyrrha or tell her, I think I feel that way too. I think this would mean more to a knight. Turning around, I grab Pyrrha and hug her tightly. She returns the embrace at once, enveloping me in her arms. It's nice and tight. It feels good. I needed a hug like that for a long time. I think she needed one too. I think when all those bad things are happening, we don't have a choice except to be strong. So once it all calms down is when it really starts to hit us. Which seems totally weird, right? Right. I take both her hands, shaking them once. Pyrrha, I feel like I've said this before, but you really are one of the bravest people I've ever met. Stepping closer, Pyrrha pulls me in close, holding me until the bells stop tolling the hour. Resting my head against her chest, I wait for her to let go. When she does, she looks more like herself again. It's a clear shot from here to the castle. Ready to go? She lets out a long breath. Yes. I cover the entrance to the tunnel again. To unschooled eyes, it blends right in with the surroundings as cold gray stone. The path is empty except for us and the occasional traveler, headed to the kingdom. We wave, careful not to inhale too much of their dust. I don't know why, but when you tell me I'm brave, I really believe it. Maybe because I'm no one to you. Time to validate her. Then I'll say it as much as you need. Convenient. If that's the case, then I'll tell you you're brave whenever you want to hear it. Just ask. Are you sure? That sounds exhausting. I'm happy to give you anything you need. The further we travel, the more Pyrrha's relaxes into our conversation. Okay, little typo there. Once we reach the city, Pyrrha is completely back to her old self. She walks and stands tall, confident in her own calm, quiet way. I'm really late for my meeting with Glinda, huh? Pyrrha smirks. I'm sure she'll understand. As for myself, I'm drained after our little adventure. Her eyes flicker to the towers, her solace and refuge in the recent chaos. I understand that, after being trapped again, she probably wants to go look at the sky. With a smile and wave goodbye, Pyrrha wanders away looking the most unburdened I've seen her in days. Then I have to go find Glinda. Time to face the music. A few days later, and I get the distinct feeling Glinda is venting out her frustration on me. Again! Sparks fly as Pyrrha's sword crashes down on Pridewind. Hey, don't actually try to hit me! Jean holds up well against the onslaught, unarmed except for his shield. The real enemy won't stop short of your skin, Jean. Her sword is a blur, and when I blink, I see Jean healing a little nick on his cheek. So it'll be death by 1,000 cuts. Unless you'd rather not know your limits, Mr. Ark. Is this really the best way to find out? We'll put weights on you next. Heedless of leaving himself wide open, Jean slumps in defeat, his shield falling to his side. Please just kill me. I would slit your throat if you asked, but only if you could promise you'll heal it right afterwards. Okay. Pyrrha just laughs under her breath. Don't get too excited, young lady. You're next. Well, of course, ma'am. I'm sitting on the floor nearby, just watching as I take a break. Glinda already put me through the ringer. The three of us, with our new uncontrolled or volatile semblances, have made a game out of the daily beatings Glinda puts us through. Nothing builds camaraderie like mutual suffering. When we're finally done, Jean quickly exits before we can do any more damage. Glinda excuses herself as well, promising to meet me later this evening for meditation lessons. Pyrrha hangs back with me, toying with the clasps on her vambraces. Ruby, can I talk to you? Yeah, sure. Pyrrha hesitates, then she clarifies. In an official context. Oh, okay. I clear my throat. Speak, member of the court, and your queen will hear you. How was that? Very dignified. I was working with some of the refugees from Spiritus Bellatorum earlier today. They mentioned that the local high priest of Octoritus is looking for a successor. Oh? And while there are a few candidates among the refugees, I saw another option, myself. Oh. Back to this conversation, soldier or priest? So you made your choice already, huh? I'm considering it. To be honest, I do want to stay. But I want to stay for selfish reasons. What's stopping you then? You can't be a priestess and remain on the court? Queen Rose, Octoritus's servants do sometimes advise politicians. However, my oaths would require me to maintain objectivity and a certain measure of distance. I would have to forfeit my place on the court. And thus I find myself torn. I asked you once before to give this thought, but now I need your answer. I come to ask you for your command. My queen, would you have me remain on the court, or should I return to being a priestess? Alright, here we are with another very heavy decision on her shoulders. You should stay with the court. You should go back to being a priestess. This is a very personal decision. I can't make it for you. Well, when she said before of whether her people would stay or return to Spiritus Bellatorum when the Grimm have been eradicated, I feel like I would be more lenient to let her return to her home plane, as I would wish upon anyone in my court who comes from a plane other than Vale. But in this situation, I feel like unity is what we really need. And just as Pyrrha said herself that she has selfish reasons to stay on the court, I think as a monarch in this giant battle for humanity's survival, I think we too need to be selfish. If it were any other circumstance, I think I would choose this third option. This is a very personal decision. I can't make it for you. But I think for this very specific situation, all things considered, I think we should ask her to stay with the court. If you really want me to choose for you, then I want you to stay on the court. We need someone from Spiritus Bellatorum. And I trust you, Pyrrha, to do what's best for everyone on your plane, even if you aren't there with them. I honestly think you can do the most good for your people if you stay here. Pyrrha bows deeply. Thank you, my queen. I will do my best. I know you will. Her gaze falls down to the floor, brow bunching together. I squirm, wondering what we should say next. So you're definitely staying then? Yes. Phew, don't scare me like that again. Making an important choice for you like that. I don't like it. Then I promise you won't have to do it again. Oh, Pyrrha. I feel as though lately all I've been is a nuisance. I'm not normally filled with such doubts and fears. Believe me, Ruby, I would not have asked you if I were not torn beyond belief. And I'm sorry for forcing that decision on you with such little warning. Well, that's a thing I have to do as queen, anyway. And for once, it was an easy decision. Pyrrha bows once, and then quickly pulls me into an embrace. We gotta hug her. My friend, it's an honor to stay at your side. I return it happily, holding her tight. Yay, Pyrrha! Alright, so that's the end of Pyrrha's loyalty mission, I imagine. It was very short, but still it had its moments. And I really like what the writers of this game did with her backstory as someone who feels compelled by destiny, which is something that is rooted in the canonical show. And also it deals with her PTSD, something that needs to be talked about more in media. Very much so. It's something that I myself, as a writer, constantly thinks about, and I'm constantly trying to better myself when it comes to it. And I think Pyrrha's experience with PTSD was handled very respectfully, very realistically, and it wasn't just kind of thrown in there as just like a plot point or for like shock value. It really is part of her character, and it's something that she still carries with her, even though when we re-emerged out of the tunnel and back into the sunlight, and she still has those doubts on her, you know, and it's a work in progress that she agreed with Ruby, you know, whenever I don't feel brave, please tell me that I am brave. It's something that's not just solved in an instant, and I really appreciate that, and I really respect that. That was very good. So, bit of a shorter episode this time, but I think this was a good segment of the game that we just played through. I very much enjoyed it. That decision came easier than most, I would imagine. I'm trying to think of who we have left. Probably Ren and Nora. Those two might be the last court members that we have to go to, since we already went through Weiss, Blake, Yang, Pyrrha, Jean, Penny, and all we have left should be Ren and Nora, I believe. I don't think we're missing anyone. So, possibly getting close to the end of the game, I'm not entirely sure. We'll find that out next time. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all on the next episode of Ruby Summer Rose Court. Until then.